Hey guys, I thought I would bring you along with me today with making some shower steamers. As you can tell already, it is a messy endeavor, but it is totally worth it in the end. When I say it took me a year to formulate this recipe, it is not an exaggeration. Good things often take time, and this is no exception. It's important to strain your baking soda, as obviously there are those little clumps there. You do not want those in your shower steamers. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on things that I learned through the process. I already added the baking soda. Now I'm adding the citric acid. These two elements are key to making a shower steamer. If you've ever made a bath bomb, you'll notice that this recipe is very similar, the ingredients, to a bath bomb. I do use a 2-to-1 ratio of baking soda is the 2 and citric acid is the 1. That just seems to be the ideal ratio for me. And here I am going to clean up because I can't stand having a mess. So I like to clean up as I go. Next ingredient is the menthol crystals. And this really is the secret weapon of my particular ingredients list. I love these menthol crystals. I know a shower steamer, if you ask different people want different things from a shower steamer. But for me, it has to be something that is pungent, that packs a punch. Here I'm adding some spearmint essential oil. I really want it to say, wake up and live your life. This is definitely something in my shop that people request often, and I almost always sell out immediately upon restocking. And once you try them, you will know exactly why. The next ingredient I'm adding here is polysorbate 80, and that is an emulsifier, which is a fancy way of saying it's going to take any fats and colorants and bind to those and wash them down the drain. You don't want any oils slicking up your bathtub. You don't want any colorants leaving a stain. And there you go. There's the bottle. It's a little worse for wear, but it's good. I got this from Brambleberry and it's been well loved. The next one is the colorant from Micas. It's Aphrodite. And the purpose of coloring is just to add interest. It's really not to add a whole lot. I just add a tiny little pinch. I don't even measure because I'm not adding a lot to this. You don't want to add a ton. A little truly goes a long way. I've tried different color combinations. Mad Micas is a phenomenal supplier. All of their elements are cruelty-free. They are ethically sourced. I just love that company. You do want to make sure in the colorants that you're choosing that they are safe for use in shower steamers. My next element is coconut oil, and coconut oil, if you've worked with it before, you know that it is solid at room temperature, which can be kind of weird if you've never worked with coconut oil, whether in cooking or in crafting. It's just kind of weird to think that an oil is solid at room temperature, but this one is. So I do need to melt this down. The menthol crystals also I do melt down, and the menthol crystals have a much higher melting point than coconut oil. So I did zap the menthol crystals first before adding the coconut oil, and boom, there it is. It's all melted. And the coconut oil also is more of a binding agent than giving something great to the shower steamer, because obviously this is going in the shower. You don't want a ton of oils where it's going to cause a slippery surface, which is another reason why, in my opinion, it is vital to have an emulsifier. I do not want to create a product that is going to be dangerous, that somebody's going to be slipping and sliding all over their shower. So now I'm just mixing this together. That polysorbate 80 really is a thicker, kind of sticky substance, so I do want to mix it in really well. And that glass that I melted the menthol crystals in is super hot, so make sure you be careful when you're melting those down. You also want to wear goggles when you're doing this because you don't want to run the risk of something getting up in your eyes, whether that is baking soda. Honestly, that's just not going to be comfortable in your eyes. But also because these menthol crystals are incredibly, incredibly intense. And when you are leaning over that bowl, your eyes start to tear up. So just having that extra precaution of wearing goggles is really going to help keep your eyes safe through this process. So here I am just mixing, making sure everything is well incorporated. I do go in with a gloved hand and just kind of start mixing. You can see it more clumping up, so it's not as powdery anymore. It's more of clumps. And I do perform what I call a squeeze test. I don't know if that's the technical term or not, but I take a bunch in my hand and kind of squeeze it. And if it holds its form as it drops down into the bowl, I know that it's ready to press. So there I am doing the squeeze test. See, most of that's holding together. So I know that it's ready to press. If it's falling apart and it's too crumbly, I will add a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. If it is too wet and sticky, I will add a little bit of baking soda. So you just really have to eyeball, and like I said, guys, this took me a full year to figure out. So don't be discouraged if you try this and you can't get it on the first time. It took so much trial and error to get to where I am today. Ta-da! Isn't she beautiful? And that little press that I have, I got off of Amazon. I take these little edges off because they're easy to take off now. If you wait like 24 hours, it's going to be harder to peel those little bits off. So I do that right away. But this press, like I was saying, I got from Amazon. It's not super expensive, and you can get lots of different heads, so you can create tons of different looks with just one press, which is really fun. So I just go on to use all of the material in my bowl until it's done. This batch size usually makes like 10 or 11 shower steamers, and I like to make a bunch of batches at once. So, they go far, they go long, and they go fast. In my shop, they go really fast. So here's a picture of a former batch that I made. This is not the particular batch that I made today, but I wanted to show you the finished product and the different style on the head. They just are beautiful. I love them. And this is how I tend to wrap them, but there's lots of different ways you can wrap them to your preference. I do tend to let them sit for about 24 hours before wrapping them. As always, my name's Martha. I'm the owner and operator of Blue Haven Soapery. You can find all my goodies at bluehavensoapery.etsy.com. Thanks for watching, guys.